Thanks, Annie. Okay, and our next speaker is Tom S., not Tom C., and he'll tell you what the S stands for, and he's from Portland.
I'm Tom, I'm an addict. Can you hear me? Come closer then. If anybody's sitting by an empty seat, can you raise your hand? Yeah, if you guys want to sit, that'd be big, because you're going to need to sit for this. Is that right? How long do I go anyway? 2:30? No, that ain't going to happen. Once I get going and standing up. 2:30. Whoa. Okay, well, I've been sick too, so if I go down, just bring the microphone down to me. I'll keep going. I've been asking people about integrity. You get a lot of weird answers. When John asked me to speak, he goes, man, hey, man, you know how he is. Man, you're speaking on integrity, and you got some. I said, really? What is it? And I'll clean it up a little. He said, integrity's not having sex with a newcomer even though they want you to. Well, I got that so far. You never know, though. She's got about 8 months, this gal back at home called me. Well, never mind. So the S, the C, I won't tell you what the C might stand for, but I went to treatment in '79. This is a good indication of how sick I am, and they call me Tom S., because they called me Tom Slick. And I beat them all at pool, And you got to be good to beat a bunch of treatment people in pool. And it just shows you what a misspent youth I had, And one day we had a deal, and it was something about masks that people use and wear to, manipulator, funny guy, controller, Siri, I don't remember what they all were. There were 7 of them. And they said, and you were supposed to pick which one you thought you were. So I came up with the one that was Daffy Duck, which is a funny guy, using humor to, not deal with stuff, not get beat up. And and then they kind of started laughing. And I thought, it ain't funny. And they said, class, there's about 35 of them in there. The counselor said, class, on a count of 3, let's tell him what he really is. And she goes, 1, 2, 3, and they go, he's a jack of all trades. And what that meant was, I was a master manipulator, that I used all 7 of the masks, that in any situation I would put on any mask, any face, to get my way. It was a master manipulator. And I didn't know that. But 35 people, especially them brilliant people in that nut house I was in, knew that. And, it was like, man, they all can't be wrong. Obviously, I haven't forgotten that. But that's an indication of my disease and how it manifested. I can hear my old sponsor telling me now, tell them how sick you were, and then get on the damn topic, So, since I got so long here, I'll go into a little of that. I was a good kid, and I didn't use. I played sports, and then one day I went to the pool hall, and I was gone, and I never went back to class, hardly. And overnight, it changed for me. I smoked some dope, smoked some cigarettes, drank some booze, had sex, and took speed in 2 weeks. So I was a quick learner. And what happened was, I got arrested in 3 years on a bunch of felonies, and I was guilty of all but 2 of them, and then those pissed me off that they had those. But I ended up, in a lot of trouble in 1969, and then I used for 15 more years. And that treatment center was 1979. And so My difficulty was in getting clean. And now that I got clean, I don't want to go through that again. So I work real hard at staying clean, because I know what can happen to me or anybody. And so I'm busy. I'm busy in recovery. And, I started out my first year, I didn't have any integrity, by the way. And the topic is integrity in recovery, which is good because I don't know how you have any if you're not. Nobody I knew. So that first year I was just meetings. God, did I go to meetings and talk in every one of them. Very full of integrity, full of something. And after a year, I got involved in service, started carrying the message in the jails. And, I was like the jail guy. It was cool now. And still talking out of the side of my neck, And at 2 years, my sponsor put me on 30 days silence. Me? And that was very interesting because he told me I wasn't Mr. NA, that I was not the center of attention. NA would go on without me. It didn't need me. I needed it. And I said, well, I'll do it if you will. I mean, that's the best I could come back with. And I began to learn about integrity. I learned about who didn't have it, actually. Them guys talking for 10 minutes every meeting. Not saying much. Shut up. It was me. I was looking at me. Kind of a harsh thing he did to me, but very important. Usually I have about at least a 5-minute timer that'll go off and I shut up because, man, those people made me sick. The good news was I had started working the steps, and that's the only integrity I have is from God working through the steps in Narcotics Anonymous. That's all I got it from, if I got any at all. I got 3 sponsees in here, and if you want to talk to them after the meeting, they can verify if I have any or not. And I want to talk about them. But before I get there, where was I? 2 years? Full of myself. And, picture of recovery. And what it did was it helped me pay better attention. It helped me understand a little bit more about my place around here. That I was just a member, And I started to learn again through the steps, and I believe especially through 6 and 7, where my defects were sort of honed into assets, like resentment of authority. I got that really strong. Anybody else? And I think that because I stood for that so strongly, that integrity is standing up for what you believe in no matter what, even if you're in the minority. And so that one, maybe, I could be way off here, because, I am sick. Get out a violin, will you? I don't feel good. But, and I don't even know what I was saying. Authority. Those bastards, they did it. They did it to me, And so I have intense resentment. It's been turned into, what has it been turned into? A commitment, like she was reading off, soundness, incorruptibility, because I stand for Narcotics Anonymous, and I believe in the steps, and I believe in the people and the love that can be found here, and I stand real hard for that, man. Real tall on that one. And that's what's given me any bit of recovery or integrity that I have. Back to the sponsees. God keeps sending me some real interesting guys to work with. Boy, did I clean that up. She liked it. I needed help. So God sent me these men, you see. The first guy I ever sponsored has 21 years. And they sent me a list of, let's say, wounded men who are angry because they're hurt. And they sort of acted and reminded me a little bit of my dad, who I was afraid to stand up to. Because, he was right and you didn't have any feelings and stuff like that. So what happened was I would have to stand toe-to-toe with these guys and tell them the truth. So I had to learn on-the-job integrity, because these guys were smarter than me, a couple of them. And they know who they are. They're here. And so what happened was the principles of the program, which is they're just riddled with integrity and honesty and virtue and straightforwardness. They just are. So in working the program, these guys made me have to work. One of them, Dan back there, used to he used to read stuff out of the book and try to quiz me and question me so I'd make a mistake. And man, I learned really fast, man. And I usually had the answer. He didn't know I was going to my wife who knew everything. But damn did I have the answer, I got to tell you about Dan. Dan and I have been together 15 and a half years. Dan was not a spiritual man when he came here. Dan would do anything for me. We love each other. Our relationship is based on honesty and trust and being there for each other. Stand up for each other. And I don't think I've had a relationship with a man, anything like that, for that long. And it's taught me more about integrity and than anything ever could. And I was telling one of Jimmy K's daughters about that. She was nearly crying, because it's true, man. It's a powerful thing. And now he's sponsoring like 9 guys and doing that with them. And we've been coming here, I think 2000 was our first year, and we had that time together. It was really, really important. And, Dan won't let me I don't think I've ever lied to him. He says one time, but I was just trying to fool him, see if he was paying attention. And we still argue about that last night. But isn't that something? Never lied to the guy. Wow. What do you think I was before, Earl? I could never tell the truth even when it would help me. Couldn't do it. And then along came Mark, right over here. Mark, I met him. He was throwing a bunch of wood out of a truck, swearing like a logger. And you got to be careful what you think, because in both cases I thought, geez, those guys could use some help, Whoops. So there they were. Well, and Mark came to me because he felt that my wife and I had a wonderful relationship, which we did. And we were Tom and Nancy, about 14 years clean, I think. And, sponsoring half the fellowship, and out there in that rural area we were living in. And then a couple weeks later we separated, And Mark, I can tell this, can't I? Mark says, you want me to beat that guy up because she got a boyfriend right away. Well, he wasn't kidding. Any moment go on with some married woman, and I said, Mark, it ain't about that guy, It's not about him at all. Well, I'll kill your dog. I'll kill her dog. That's what I don't think that's integrity. I said, man, it ain't about the dog either. And see, what it was about was Mark was friends with both of us, and he loved us both, and we both loved him. And he thought he'd have to make a choice between, he'd have to choose me, of course. But he was going to miss some wisdom there. And the truth is that we both still love him, and he's in both our lives. In fact, we both still love each other, and we communicate all the time. And it's been about 7 years, and that's recovery. That's integrity, mostly on her part. But to still love and care and support each other in our recovery is very important because we grew up together in recovery. And she has unconditional love, and I learned it from her. And what happened then was, I hurt, man. It'd been 10 years loaded, 15 years clean. We went through the war together, man, and the war of early recovery. But anyway, I kept thinking it was Tom and Nancy. And what am I going to do now? I got no home. I got nowhere to go. I'm hurting. Well, guess who was there every day for me? Called me every day for 6 months, man. Every day. Dan. He's like, oh, man. And I'd cry so hard my gut hurt, But I could do that with Dan. Tough guy, Bawling like a baby. And I felt safe, and I had some support, and I had some love, and I had someone who understood, and he was there for me, man. And I needed him. He didn't need me. I needed him. And so I wasn't going to get in no NA relationship, right? She liked that one. I waited almost 2 years. Pretty good, really. Some integrity there. And then, she chased me down and pretty much. She wants me to be honest. Funny thing was, I carried the same stuff into that one. And, oh, by the way, it has to do with selfishness. And that was my part. Selfish. I lost a good woman because I didn't have much integrity when it came to her about doing some of the things she wanted. I would do some, believe me. But it's a long story. God, I better not get into that. But the truth is, I was selfish. And it cost me. So what did I do with the NA relationship? Oh, God, I don't want to do that again. She was a beautiful woman, and she was a heroin addict prostitute from the streets, my kind of girl. And she'd been to prison and went to school and now runs a treatment center. Fantastic lady. And about 3.5 years, I couldn't give her what she deserved and wanted. And so with some integrity, we stopped. Because I wasn't going to change that. And she knew it. And so, because of recovery, she's got 10 years now. We also have a relationship where we talk a couple times a week, and we support each other in our recovery. It's amazing. I don't know why I got onto that. Does that have to do anything with the topic? Yeah, so right in there somewhere, I got prostate cancer. And thank God I had the girlfriend, I won't get into that. I'm glad you didn't get that one, because I'm stopping. Ah, watch out for her. And what happened for me was this. I didn't know, I've been go, 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 man. I go to meetings almost every day, I always have. I am the last guy to leave the parking lot almost every meeting. Almost every meeting. Because that's what it is. It's about the newcomer, man. And the steps taught me that. That's one of the steps. So I don't know why I possess that ability, but I do. And so I have been involved in a lot of people's lives. I'm not going to forget Eric, too, another sponsee. And so we met, parking lot, and loving people and talking to them and answering my phone and going, man, and caring about them and loving them, man, and trying to listen instead of talk, and to really care. No matter where, I've been where they've been pretty much. And so I've done that the whole time. God blessed me with that. And so in doing that, then I got sick. And I was like, had to stop, kind of, for a while. And man, all them people came to me and told me they loved me and how much I meant to them. And I'm like, that kind of feels weird. And it was like I was having a hard time accepting that until I realized, once again, it's not about you, dummy. They need to be able to express that and tell someone they love them. And then it was okay. And so my mission then was to give more love out, because it was really obvious that I had been given so much. And so I decided that, well, it's what my higher power was telling me. And I am a lover, not a golfer. Giver of love. And don't go there, Michelle. Where was I again? A giver of love. Somebody's listening. So what happened is, I must have been doing that. I didn't even know it. That's the way the program works for me. I must be living the steps because I didn't even know it, but I get the benefit. All of a sudden, I realize I'm not doing that anymore, or I feel good about me and my life. It's like, wow, I didn't even know it. And that's what continuing to work and continuing to show up and continuing to try and be there for other people, I get the benefit. And so what happened was, what happened? Oh, I got really sick again. I don't know, 5 years later. 6 years later, actually, I've been sick for 3 years. I didn't know it at first. And this is a good one. I've always had the hepatitis, but probably as part of that, and me, I was 20 years clean. I thought, man, I'm too fat. I need to lose some weight, That's not integrity. It's look good. But anyway, and I'm getting old, So I went on like an all raw food diet. Weird thing. I don't even know why I'm talking about it. For like 4 months, lost 50 pounds. Oh, I was pretty. Oh, God. Fuck, man. Pants fit and everything. It was like, wow, I could tie my shoes and shit. But in the course of doing that, I had thrown my immune system off because it was typical addict behavior. Too much, too quick, black and white, all or nothing. I'll eat everything. I won't eat anything. Kind of a shock to my system, and not having a healthy liver, it activated what was dormant tuberculosis in me. So I had active lymphatic TB. You know about that too? Okay, well, what happened was it took a while to figure it out because it was very rare. They call it scrofula. And, God, I'm talking about my, the diagnosis for 10 days was something really bad. What was that? It was cancer. It was lymphoma. I had these things popping down my neck and in my stomach, and I didn't feel good at all for a long time. Sicker than I've ever been. I felt like I was dope sick for 4 months. Had a fever every day. But they finally figured out what it was, and they did a biopsy, and it was like, but during them 10 days, you know, I'd given all that love out, right? After the cancer, and I thought, and they said, you know, it was pretty serious, this lymphoma. And so you know what happened was I had to stop again. Now all these people came to me, and it was 10 times more because I'd been giving it out. And they were, you know, when they think maybe you know you don't got a lot of time, you'll hear from a few people, you know. But I must have been practicing love and integrity, because it was not only people in the fellowship, it was people at work. It was family. And it was the golfing community. Those guys that showed me love, that supported me, that prayed for me, that carried me. And who did my dishes? Dan. Dan. And a lot of women offered a lot of help, man. Integrity told me, no, just have the guys come over. One of them said, why? I said, because I'd watch your butt while you're vacuuming, yeah. That's honesty and integrity. So, again, the love, the people, the sponsees, man, they carried me, man. They carried me. They prayed for me. They loved me. They called me. They came over. You know, I couldn't whine that much. They were just being too nice to me. And the love and the support was overwhelming. It was tremendous. It's unbelievable. Now, I had sort of a prayer at the time. And I said, man, or God, I think I did say man. But, you know, please, if you want me, man, I'm going. I'm ready. And I don't care. I was so sick. Take me now. But I just learned about love, man, real love. And I just started really learning. I just wanted more time to learn some more. And boom, they took the biopsy. It wasn't lymphoma, it was TB, which is treatable. It's difficult, but it's treatable. It's going to be okay. I'm going to have more time to do more loving. Speaking of loving, I'm looking at all the pretty women. So I got to talk about that. Was that you? Oh, that was you. I bet he knows. I know he knows. I have, in my life today, more than half my phone numbers are women. And I help a lot of women. And I remember, I think I thought of this on my own, but I must have heard it somewhere. But I was sitting in a meeting one time with these two beautiful women, and somebody made the mistake of calling on me. And I said, you know, these women love me. And I looked at them, and they go, oh, yeah, we do. And I said, and they love me because they respect me. And I said, and they respect me because I respect myself. And it's true. Thank God for the women in my life, man. And to be able to be upfront and honest. And you see, one of the things I did was I snatched old ladies' purses when I was 19, man. And I hurt women badly. And today, I get to help them. There was a time in my recovery from 2 to 7 years where we took young girls into our home, young criminal addict girls with an attitude, just like Michelle. And they taught me so much, man. And they taught me how to respect women. I learned that from my mother. You know, I know that when I hear my mother talk about me today, I know I must have some integrity because she's so happy with me in my life. Where do you know all these people from, you know? She tells me all the time. But back to Michelle. Where was I? Oh, the women. The women. Oh, God, I'm all over the board. To have these women who I love and they love me with an intimacy and no bullshit, you know, is amazing. And for me, not only helping, you know, I had 18 counts of purse snatch and I had 18 girls live in my home with me. And the sponsor said, did you ever think? I said, no. If I'd have thought of it, I'd have screwed it up. He says, do you think maybe you can get some relief now for those women you hurt that you can't get to? And it was relief for me, and I got some. And today I realized again that all the women in my life today are still giving me an opportunity to make amends to women in general for what I did to them. You know, God, I had a good one, but it's gone. That'll happen. Too much LSD. But the opportunity to be of service teaches me integrity more than anything else I think I do. And it's really, I started doing service, I became H&I chair of our area when I had like 2.5 years. All about ego still. Look at me, I'm H&I chair. Well, of course, I didn't realize how much work it entailed. We didn't even have panels back then, you know. I love talking about the old days. And I had to call people and deal with people and coordinate and do all this with professional people in the community. And you know, it taught me integrity. I realized that finally, I remember years ago, there were a lot of people that tried to help me in my life. Good people, counselors, psychiatrists, judges, a lot of lawyers. But these people had integrity and they tried to help me, and I respected and loved them, and I lied to all of them. But one of the classes, I was in these special classes, and the one guy wrote on the chalkboard one night, he goes, he was doing he's a bunch of I's. He said, I am the same person I am at work as I am at home, with my wife, or on the golf course. And it was like, why would you want to do that? How could you? You're kidding me. I was so phony, man. And today I can say, with complete honesty, I am the same I am at work. And you can say F-bombs in there all the time. I work in the locker room at a country club. And as I am out on the golf course playing golf with the governor, you know. I shoot from the hip, baby. It just sometimes the language needs to be different. And, you know, I'm with my boys. It's, you know. But you know, if I'm in a setting where there's professional people and they don't do that, I don't do that. But I'm still me, man, everywhere I go. I'm still me. I shoot from the hip. I don't care. If you're an idiot, I'll say, I'll get on you. You know, Earl. I'm just kidding you, because we spent some time with Jack White. He loves us using his last name. Dan and I did. We went down with John and them down a couple months ago or so, and we had Jack in the car, and believe me, Dan and I just rode him. And he held his own with the two of us. That was amazing. And I got to know Jack. And another thing about that is these old-timer people are sick just like us. They aren't special. God, Earl, I'm glad you came, man. They aren't special. They are special. But what I didn't know was I was special too. You know, I thought I had to have 20 years before I was like one of the winners. It was wrong. I was wrong. I had it, well, after them 2 years, I started getting it. And today I'm free, you know. I love cutting up with these guys. And I'm one of the winners, man. I'm even an old timer, you know, because I'm old. But to feel free to be me wherever I go and shoot from the hip and not be afraid of somebody. I got to tell you how I don't have integrity. John goes, man, go into the merchandise room. We'll let you in, you know. He goes, we only let the main speakers in, but go ahead, man. Integrity was gone. I walked in with Tony D, you know. Tony's always been one of my heroes. And I remember seeing him speak 14, 15 years ago. And I was afraid to go up to him. And today I go, Tony, you know, we were in there and he was looking around, went the wrong way, didn't know what he was doing. I go, what are you, new? So then he started saying, yeah, man, I'm new. Hey, I need help, I'm new. You know, But I guess what I'm trying to say is when I realized I had some integrity, I didn't know, but I must have, because then I felt good about me wherever I am. With you know, I play golf and tournament golf and stuff with a bunch of fancy highfalutin golfing, and they ain't no different than anybody else. I don't have to be different. One time I went out and was playing golf. Here we go. Keep this on the tape. I was playing golf with these guys, and all three of them were veterans of some serious war stuff. Man, they were talking about it. And I'm like, should I tell them I was a hippie and dodged the draft, you know? I thought, no, it wouldn't do them any good, would it? Wouldn't help them at all, man. In fact, it might not help me either. You know, so. And that's what she was talking about, that thought before the action. And so I had that. Man, where'd that one come from? I don't know where I was. Earl, I'll get on Earl some more. We could end early, couldn't we? Are you bored yet? Okay, good. Michelle. Okay, I'll tell you about the guys I know in the program, or women, that don't have integrity. That's always fun. And then Eric. You know, being clean 20 years or more doesn't mean you have integrity. Time does not equal recovery, and we know who they are. You know, talking out the side of their neck, hitting on the newcomer still, you know, or they've never had a sponsor or really had a sponsor, and they don't work the steps. I'm not taking their inventory, I'm just saying. And they will do sick stuff. I remember a speaker saying, you can come in here and sit in one of them chairs and get sicker. Recovery isn't going to jump up on you. You got to jump up and get it. And, you know, maybe they'll stay clean and maybe they'll settle for less, but that's not going to work for me. And I might badmouth them a little bit to my sponsees, but I'm not going to hate them because they're sick. You know, I don't want to hang around them though, you know. And I'll tell you, Eric I met years ago doing the steps on a Monday night football, and I'm driving clear down there to do this. Yeah, Jesus. That's how I do most of my service work. God. You know. Then I come out going, man, that was good. Wow, you know. And so we worked the steps for real deep, heavy step work stuff. And I fell in love with Eric. And then I think all the guys that completed that thing are still clean today. In fact, we know they are. And that was what, 4 years ago? No, shoot, that was 8 years ago. And then Eric and I hooked up about 4 years ago. And man, I'm telling you, these three dudes here saved my life. Eric does the best step work I've seen. Not to knock the other guys. It's all good. But I'll tell you this, man. When I stand up for something or somebody today, you know, I'm sounding like I'm touting my own horn, but this shit is true. That if you mess with one of them guys, and you're one of those guys that ain't doing that deal, you ain't doing the deal, and you're hurting my friends or my sponsees, and it's ridiculous, you're messing with me. And I'm not going to, hang around you, man. And if you think I was your friend, and you're just messing with him, well, you're wrong. And this actually happened. And the guy says, man, you're being childish. And I looked up at him and said, what you did was wrong, man. Well, you don't come around no more. And I'm like, I hang around people I want to be with. I stick with the winners, man. I'm not going to hate the guy. I'm not going to disrespect him. I still hug him. But I don't like what he did, man. And these three guys that stand up for me, man, I'll tell you what, if I was in trouble and I needed some help, if I had Mark and Dan on either arm, man, nobody could stop us. Because we have truth and honesty and recovery. And we stand for what's right, man, the truth. And we've had to work on it. We're not perfect. I'm not. Jesus, have they helped me. I have to keep working hard just to stay with them, and I've never been above them. And these guys have taught me so much. And to respect and show the truth and the honesty and the care and the love and concern for these guys has taught me all about recovery, man. All about integrity. It's real. It's real. We tell each other the truth. And they love to see me make a mistake. I can't think of any. We're getting close now, huh? Yeah, okay. I don't know how to wrap it. Oh yeah, I got a story. It's kind of my thing I started lately, and I've been so sick that I haven't been able to do anything but go to meetings. People would give me rides, and then the only time I felt good besides sleeping was when I was talking on the phone to somebody in recovery. It'd take me a while, and all of a sudden, I forgot I was sick. Because I do a little bit of talking when I'm talking with those guys. But I heard a speaker say this, and I'll end with this. It's weird. Hang with me. She said she was studying geese. And geese fly in an inverted V. And they fly together now. The ones in front are doing most of the work. The ones behind them are, like tailgating on it, whatever they call that in NASCAR. Say it again, Rusty. That's it. And the ones behind them are honkers. They're the only ones honking, the back guys or gals. And they're encouraging the front ones to keep it going. Yes, I'm a honker. But they all take turns. They all take turns. Everyone's a leader, follower, and a honker. And I just heard this on the History Channel or something, Discovery Channel, that these geese can fly 171 times further together than they can alone. 171? I mean, wow. And that's got to be what's happening in here. And the other point is this. When one of them gets sick, they go down to the ground. 2 or 3 of them stay with that one till they either die or get back to honking. That's what we do here. Thank you. If you learned anything about integrity, talk to Earl.
Thanks to our speakers. Thanks, Tom. Let's circle up and close with the third step prayer.